Has 3D tracking put an end to Focus and Compose? I think so. Let's take a look at some of the options that are available in the newer mirrorless systems that have autofocus as well as 3D tracking, and how we can use it to do our own Focus and Compose now. Okay, for those who are unfamiliar with the concept, Focus and Recompose was a method that we used to kind of get around the idea that the camera didn't have enough focus points, or the focus points where we wanted them to be, or that we had to use the joystick to kind of move it around constantly to try to get a single person into focus. Here's an example. We would take the focus, move the entire camera until the eye was where the sensor was, focus, let go of the focus button, reposition the subject where you wanted them in the camera, and then take the picture. For the most part, that worked out fine. But as you can see in this one image here, I had a very long focal length at 135 and a very, very shallow depth of field. So after the recompose, the cheek and the nose are in focus, but the eye is slightly blurry. Again, for the most part, it was fine. All right, let's look at the Z9's full area with subject detection where a person is being used. You can see that once we locked onto the eye, as indicated by the yellow square, I can move it all around the screen and it will stay in focus and locked on that eye until I let go. You can see in this particular case, 3D tracking does exactly the same as the previous example. Once it sees the eye, it locks on and it stays on regardless of how I move the camera, as long as the subject is still in the frame. All right, let's take a look at the other tracking modes. Custom 2 and Custom 1, you can set up however you want to configure them. The only caveat is that the bounding box, as indicated by the red square, has to remain on the subject's face. Even if it kind of goes too far on the forehead, like you saw there, it'll lose the lock on the eye. But for the most part, it's pretty good. Now, wide area is the same. As long as it's constrained inside the bounding box, it'll work. You can see as I move left and right here, it loses the focus, and then I have to go back and find the eye, reacquire focus, and then move on. And that's going to be true also for the wide area small. You're going to have the same effect, just a smaller red bounding box. Okay, so I guess the real question is, why is this important? Well, it's important because once you lock onto the eye, you can recompose the image that you're seeing on the viewfinder to what you want, and it will stay locked onto that eye and give you a nice, sharp focus on that eye, which is what we're all looking for when we take those nice portrait shots. One caveat that you should really be aware of is that when you use a single point focus with eye detection, as long as it's on the face, it's generally going to find that eye. But if that bounding box indicated in red goes off of the face, it's not going to be able to find the eye. So make sure your bounding box is big enough that wherever you recompose the person to, their eye is still going to be inside that box. Or you can just use the 3D tracking, which will keep track of that one person in that eye, regardless of how you recompose your image. All right, well, I hope this was beneficial for you, and please give us a like and subscribe. And if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them below, and I appreciate it. Thanks.